All right, I'm recording this after the sprint in Spa, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell McLaren are doing. Now, if you were just looking at this in isolation, you would probably think, why on earth are you going for a higher downforce setup? There's basically no chance of overtaking in Sector 2 that requires the higher downforce setup, so you theoretically, just like Red Bull are doing, can hang on in Sector 2 and just run away with it in Sector 1 and 3, and with a very, very good chance of overtaking in the Camel Straight. So it seems like the most obvious thing to do is go for a low downforce setup at Spa. Well, it's slightly more complicated than that. So there are a few things I think that contribute to this. Firstly, I think the outright pace of the McLaren. They can essentially live with high downforce because they are so much faster than everyone. And it also really assists their biggest benefit in the race, which is tyre preservation. Secondly, as proven in sprint qualifying, this is an incredibly fast setup for that McLaren at Spa. Oscar did the fastest ever lap at Spa, so clearly that setup gets them round the track the fastest. Now, that's not necessarily the fastest in a race, but certainly in qualifying. And thirdly, probably most importantly, and the main reason for this setup is the Sunday race and the potential for the track being wet, either before the race at the start or during the race at some point. You know, a drying track, a wet track, a absolute deluge, whatever it is, having a high setup with any moisture around is going to massively be advantageous to you. So the fact that there's a sort of 50-50 chance of rain tomorrow means a little bit of a compromise in the sprint race probably benefits them tomorrow on the Sunday. Now, you could say, well, why are you going for a high downforce when you can just come out of Parc Fermé after the sprint race? Well, yeah, that's a good question. I think there's probably a certain amount of car setup. They want to optimize the car. They don't want to massively change the car with a whole different philosophy going into qualifying without any testing. So from the start of the weekend, I think they've had Sunday in mind, and they've optimized the car to get the most out of a high downforce, knowing that that is going to pay dividends on Sunday.